It's deja vu for the Rangers. For the second consecutive spring, the Rangers will need consecutive wins in order to avoid a stunningly early exit in the Stanley Cup Playoffs. Inside our Delta MSG studios, Giannone, Henrik Lundqvist, and Steve Valiquette. 4-0 the final in Game 5. The Devils over the Rangers in Newark. And guys, maybe I'm not stunned by the result. I'm stunned by how it happened. The 4 maybe is as surprising as the 0, but the 0 is shocking given what happened in Game 4.
Yeah, we talked about going into this game how the Rangers needed a great start to kind of end the momentum the Devils have created for themselves over the last couple games. And what happens? The Devils scores right away and keep that momentum. And wow, I'm stunned too. Just the way the Devils played, and there was no really big answers from the Rangers. I was hoping for a big comeback in the third. Instead, we saw the Devils completely destroy the Rangers in the third.
It was the first game of this series where we saw one of the teams just completely dominate the other at 5-on-5. You could say that the Rangers won games 1 and 2 by 5-1 scores, but they didn't dominate those games at 5-on-5. They had the push on the power play, and it made it an easier game. My bigger point is that the team right now looks like a collection of stars rather than a team. And I'm talking about the back check, not being able to come back quick enough to put pressure to shut down the rush game of the Devils that had their own way through the neutral zone. And because they weren't coming back, the Rangers weren't able to get out of their zone. It was as disconnected, disjointed as I've seen the team all year, and get really railroaded by the Devils, like owned.
Yeah,
you know? I just try to, we were sitting here after 2 games, and everything was working for the Rangers. And at least for me, I was just surprised how well the Devils adjusted their game and how much they improved in Game 2, 3, and 4. And it kind of looks like the Rangers team feels the same a little bit. They're a little overwhelmed with how well the Devils turned the corner and just changed the way they were playing. Just more speed. And we also talked about this after Game 3, kind of back to how they played during the regular season. Regular season where the Devils team beat the Rangers 3 out of 4. So for me, I needed a reset. I'm sure the team also kind of needed a reset here. And now it's, do or die.
Steve, clearly Akira Schmid is going to get a lot of credit and should. 80 stops out of 82 shots over 3 games. But when you consider the Rangers have only scored twice in 3 games, that has to be as much what the Devils did to adjust, as Hank just said, down 2. What's the biggest thing you've seen?
He was great in this game. He didn't have to face nearly the quality of chances that Igor had to face. With that said, he had his most difficult game. Games 3 and 4, they were well defended by the Devils, and the Rangers really didn't create a whole lot. But in this game, the Rangers had more, but not nearly enough. I mean, come on, we can't even compare. In the second period, Igor had to make 3 or 4 big grade A saves where I'm writing in my notes, remember that moment, because if the Rangers happen to come back from 2-0 or 3-0, you're saying, wow, Igor made some big saves. But then Igor has to make, 7 or 8 more grade A's in the third, so it's not an 8 or a 9 goal game? I mean, that's where, come on, like the pride factor. I still believe in the group that they'll be prideful enough to show up on Saturday on Madison Square Garden ice and give it. And I can't see them losing. I can't until I see it happen.
Yeah.
I believe in the team to do that, but this was a disheartening performance.
Yeah, no question. And after last year's Game 4 loss to the Penguins, when the Rangers went down 3-1 in Pittsburgh, Jacob Trouba called a team meeting, and it was what he said inside that meeting that has been given a lot of credit for sparking the Rangers to win Games 5, 6, and 7. A lot of it will fall on the broad shoulders of Igor Shesterkin, fair or unfair. He had a terrific night, 39 saves, and I have a feeling, Steve, when you put out your metrics for tomorrow, the high danger chances are going to be decidedly one-sided.
Well, it's the ace up the Rangers' sleeve right now because he hasn't stolen a game yet. And you can suspect that he's still got a lot left in him based on his performance tonight in Newark. He was on the puck. And what you've seen develop over the series is a little bit of a give and take, a back and forth with Timo Meier. And it started in Game 4. And when he crashes the crease in Game 3, this was the play where it was accidentally on purpose, but there was definitely something there. Tonight, You can see this one here where the stick gets pushed from Meyer. Shesterkin goes over and gives him a shove and says, "What's up?" And then he takes a punch in the face from Trouba. Sort of funny, but not funny if you're Meyer. And then this. Shesterkin makes a glove save shortly after on Meyer. And now he gathers himself and he makes himself over on his way to the bench after this, and he's got his helmet off. And John, it's something that you're privy to because you're between the benches so frequently, but you know, it's not too often you see Shesty going at the team and having words with his teammates to inspire them.
I've never seen it happen in the time that Igor has been with the team where he has actually addressed. I've seen somebody else do it more than once.
We were talking about, John.
So you can understand the emotion of the moment, especially given the way that game was going. That was late second period.
Yeah, and let's talk about his third period. It was unreal. The quality of chances the Devils had and the type of saves Igor made, he was locked in. And sometimes when you give up a few goals and you feel like the game is kind of getting away from the team, it could be challenging for a goalie to stick with it, but he really did. I mean, some of these saves are just unbelievable, how he moves, and he battled. There was not a lot of structure in front of him in the third. The Devils just kept coming.
I think that's the good news, right, Hank? He just kept going, and he kept playing. It wasn't that he was playing the score. If some of the players on the ice were playing the score, you would probably indicate that based on the 20-2 shots advantage for the Devils in the third. But Igor just kept going. You know, he had that intensity.
And you know what? That's something he can bring with him for Game 6. He finished so strong in this game. Yeah. If he just played okay in that third period, he would have given up another 3 goals. But because he played so good, he has that feeling inside him that, you know, whatever I'm doing out there, it's paying off. It's up to the group right now to figure it out and get some scoring. But way to step it up there in the third period. I mean, I love this game.
Yeah, I agree with you because if you're a goalie, and oftentimes we do this, we try and cut the goals down. And if you're Igor, you could say bad bounce on the first one, screen deflection on the second, and really nice third goal where the pass came across and they didn't have a chance. Moving on. And at the same time, looking at his tape to reassure himself that I'm doing the right things. I'm going to be ready for Game 6. I'm sure he's going to be ready to put up a big performance in Game 6.